Hey y'all, it is October the 13th, 2025, and we're here today. Thank you for joining me, by the way. It's the first edition, and we're going to have obviously, some more editions coming very soon. We plan to make it a regular thing, perhaps a daily thing very soon. All right, it's going to take a little bit of time, but stay posted. All right, if you are concerned or you would like to know the news in regards to the city of San Antonio, Texas, that's what we're here to do. Before we get into it, it is October the 13th, 2025, and it is apparently Christopher Columbus Day. A lot of people might feel a lot of different ways about that, and I respect that. And no matter how you feel about that, I personally don't really I don't really celebrate holidays too much. You know, every day is special and important to me. I have nothing against Christopher Columbus, all right? But also, I'm not an expert on his life, all right? Just so that y'all know. We're here today to go over, because it is Monday, to go over the crimes that have taken place in San Antonio over the weekend. If you are interested, I suppose that's why you're here. You want to know about the crime. See, we're going to get down to the bottom of it quick, fast, and in a hurry, right? In such a way that your local news just simply will not. Unfortunately, God bless them. They do a great job at whatever it is they do, but they do not get to the point. They don't do it as quick and efficient as us. You will find out. So let's just dive right into it, y'all. Based on reports from local news outlets, San Antonio Police Department, SAPD updates, and social media discussions, the weekend saw a mix of violent incidents, including multiple shootings. Some people might be aware of that. That's kind of a regular thing here in San Antonio, Texas. There was a fatal fight. There were robberies. There were hits and runs. Notably, a major anti-trafficking operation concluded with significant rescues and arrests. Have you heard about all this? Likely you haven't. It's probably been on various news publications, but it takes them a very long time. They like to play commercials and all this. We're going to go over it very efficiently. All right, we're going to go over all these things that I'm speaking of right now before we get up out of here. Overall, these align with broader 2025 trends showing a decline in violent crimes, supposedly and allegedly, and if there is a decline, well, thank God for that, but it's still way too much. All right? So it's a supposed decline in violent crimes compared to 2024, which apparently was a rough year. Though isolated incidents like these highlight ongoing challenges in gun violence and interpersonal disputes, something that San Antonio is famous for. Below is a detailed breakdown of key incidents categorized for clarity. All times are approximate and based on initial reports. And if you wonder why I just said that, it's because I got a lot of these details from Grok. And I'm not like a gatekeeper. You can go onto any artificial intelligence probably. I choose Grok because, you know, they seem to really, really get to the heart of the matter. You can go ahead and look these all up. I'm not a gatekeeper to any of this. All right, so but we're going to go over it. We're going to go over these incidents that I just talked about right now. All right? Shootings and homicides first. First things first. Several shooting incidents occurred, resulting in one confirmed homicide and multiple injuries. No mass shootings were reported. And let me just say on a personal note, where I'm at, don't you worry about where I'm at, somewhere on the northwest side. Last night I heard 5 gunshots off in the distance. They weren't very close, but 5 of them, and no, I don't think they were fireworks, it's whatever people like to say. They were 5 gunshots. And I wonder whatever came of that. All right. So, but that, I don't know if that's in the news or anything like that. That's just what I heard with my own 2 ears. So let's get into it. All right. Let's get into an incident. There was a fatal East Side shooting on October the 12th. Right, in the evening on the east side, of course. Specific block not detailed in initial reports, but check this out. A man was shot and killed during an altercation. SAPD is investigating motives, possibly linked to a dispute. No suspect is in custody, just so that you know. That person's running wild, all right? You better watch out for that person. Homicide investigation is ongoing, and like I said, there's no arrests have been made. On the north side, there was an argument and a shooting took place on October 12th overnight around midnight. This was taking place on De Zavala Road on the northwest side apartment complex. A woman was shot multiple times during an argument among a group of friends. Those are not really good friends, just so that you know, all right? If they shoot you multiple times, these are not good friends. She was hospitalized in stable condition, and the suspect fled on foot. The suspect is still at large, and witnesses are being interviewed. Hopefully they catch that suspect. Everybody knows who it is, so hopefully they catch that person. Northwest Side drive-by shooting. This was October 12th on the evening, and this is too far away from me. I wouldn't have heard the gunshots. All right, this is near crossing and Ingram Roads, whatever that is, Ingram Road. People know about Ingram Road. All right, that's on the Northwest Side. A 55-year-old man was shot multiple times while outside. So I mean, this guy was targeted probably. I mean, in a drive-by shooting, just to get shot multiple times, you're probably targeted. He was hospitalized for non-life-threatening injuries, and it was a possible targeted attack. I would hope so. I would hope people are not driving around willy-nilly just shooting at random houses. The suspect fled in a vehicle. Investigation is active, so hopefully they find that person. Seems kind of personable. I mean, not personable, but personal. A late night walk shooting. So it's not a drive-by, it's a walk-by or something. October the 12th at about 2:15 a.m. and possibly early Sunday. So they're not exactly sure. Northwestern Drive and Ingram Road on the west side. A man was shot in the shoulder while walking with his wife. The couple, I mean, I don't know. We need to look into this, but why exactly are you walking during those hours with your wife around town in those hours on the west side? That's what I want to know. The couple was not targeted. Well, God, so y'all were random? Wow, okay. A suspect fired from a passing vehicle and fled. Victim in stable condition. So that's interesting, because why in the world were you walking at that time of day? Perhaps it was very early evening or very early morning and it wasn't 2:15. I don't know. They said 2:15 a.m. That would be pretty ridiculous to be walking with your wife, especially on the west side. And they say that these people were not targeted. It's terrible over there on the west side. No suspects identified. Random gun violence suspected. So be aware of that. That's been a thing that's been going on for a while. Sometimes people will randomly, without not even trying to rob you or nothing, will drive by you, shoot you. It's just what happens, apparently. They don't talk about that a lot on the news, but that is a thing that happens. West Side apartment shootings. That's terrifying, ain't it? Yeah. All right. West Side apartment shooting on October the 11th in the afternoon or evening time. All right, around there. Around dusk, isn't it? Bonita Park Apartments on the west side. An argument escalated into a shooting outside the complex, injuring one person with non-life-threatening wounds. The suspect is at large and believed to be known by the victim. Hopefully it would be known by the victim. Because y'all were arguing with each other. Okay? So, but who knows? Who knows if the person's cooperating? Not everybody cooperates with police investigations for whatever reason. Just so that you know, here in San Antonio. All right, so those are the shootings that we know about. There's perhaps shootings that we don't know about. All right, we're gonna have to do more digging in order to find out. But those are the ones that we do know about. Here in San Antonio, Texas, also there was assaults and fights. Okay, on the West Side gas station. Like I said, I dwell upon, and I'm born and raised on the northwest side of San Antonio. Represent. There's plenty of places that I don't care to go in the San Antonio area, metropolitan area. All right, forget all these places around the country. I know they're very violent. Forget all these other countries and stuff like that, and they got big problems with violence. San Antonio, there's places in San Antonio that I wouldn't go. I would never want to go for any reason. And even though I'm born and raised on the northwest side, I have no desire to go even to the west side. No desire. There is no reason for that, unless I might want to get cut down randomly. But of course, that could happen at any place in San Antonio. There's just more prevalent places than others. The northwest side, I gotta suggest, is a little bit more safer. So assaults and fights taking place. One was at a West Side gas station, a homicide, apparently. On October the 12th, I don't know if we've already discussed this, but on October the 12th in the evening, a man was arrested for murder after a deadly fight over an ex-girlfriend at a gas station. Let me just finish what they said right here. The altercation turned physical, resulting in the victim's death. The suspect, identified via witnesses and surveillance, is in custody facing murder. So that's something to be thankful for. At least they got this guy, and so he can't run around murdering other people. Now, before we move on, let me just say this, and I'll say it every time. I'll say it 1,000 times, and it's always going to be true. If you're fighting over a lady, be it your wife or a girlfriend, serious or not serious, doesn't matter. If you're a man fighting another man, or if you're any type of gender, because Lord knows there's a lot of genders out there, and you're fighting over a woman, let me suggest and assure you that you are a loser. You are an FAGGOT, and that's for sure. You have no business being out in the public, and you never did, because your mindset is retarded. Okay, you have a scarcity mindset, and that is why you deserve to be locked up. Nobody can trust you, and there's a lot of people out there who's not yet shooting people over women. You also should get locked up, but unfortunately, we're gonna have to wait for you to crash out and do something stupid in order to lock you up like this person right now. Now, you're at a gas station, number one, too, also, and that is like a metaphor for your life, right? You're at a gas station on the west side. You're arguing over a woman. Let me tell you something that I know for sure. This woman was a thought, right? This woman was public property, whether or not you want to admit it. She might have had firebox, does not matter. You are a loser. You have a scarcity mindset. You're in prison and you deserve it now. Okay? Somebody lost their life over it because probably they're also a loser, unfortunately. They're likely also a loser. If y'all had any sense, both y'all would have dropped this woman. She's a thought. And also, she's public property. Y'all have a scarcity mindset. And it is ridiculous. On the northwest side, there was a gun threat on October the 12th in the afternoon, apparently. A man was arrested after pulling a handgun, get this, during a fight over a mutual ex-girlfriend on Huebner Road. And this is what San Antonio is famous for, right? People who are desperate and thirsty, willing to crash out over any given public domain. Some random thought running around, and she can't wait to give it up to anybody, all right? This is who y'all are fighting over. But somebody pulled a gun and no shots were fired. The incident stemmed from a verbal dispute between the two men who are both likely losers. Okay? Robberies and thefts took place, of course, every weekend here in San Antonio. You might want to watch out. 2 aggravated robberies. Speaking of watching out, there's ways to be safe, all right? One of these is right here. I mean, you can never be safe on Earth, but there's ways to be safer on Earth. This is pepper gel, all right? It's hot pink. I'll blind you with it. That's just one thing. Have plenty of things, I would imagine. We have the Second Amendment. San Antonio, a lot of people forgot. It's called the Alamo, all right? It's called Remember the Alamo. It's called everybody should be strapped up, and that way everyone can remain polite, all right? And stop fighting over thoughts, you damn losers. So, 2 aggravated robberies. The San Antonio Police Department released suspect images and is seeking public tips. If you have any idea, you might get a reward. One occurred on September the 21st. All right, so this is a little while back. Pre-weekend, but follow-up this weekend, apparently. They're having a follow-up. The other is on October the 4th. Both involved armed suspects targeting victims in parking lots. Remember this. Remember all these things. Targeting victims in parking lots. That's an area in which you perhaps will get targeted. That's an area in which you should have a head on a swivel. That's an area in which it might be good to have this in your hand. Safety off in your hand. Right? Amongst other things, I'm just telling you this because perhaps you're not a criminal. Perhaps you want to protect yourself and your loved ones. All right? You need certain implements instead of running around like it's sweet around here. I'm telling you, it's not sweet around here. So on the west side, there was a convenience store robbery as well. A hooded man brandished a pistola at a clerk and fled with cash. Reward offered for information leading to the arrest. Now, as I've said for many years, big respect, mad respect to those people who are operating convenience stores in any part of San Antonio, especially at night, especially on the west side. And there's other sides to be aware of. Especially on the west side, you have balls that I personally don't have, right? I just don't have those. I would never do it. And especially for that amount of money. It's kind of, I mean, how desperate do you have to be? But you have big balls, so I will give you that. And that happens. I would never, ever work at a convenience store for those reasons. But however, some people have to work at convenience stores. So there were also hit and runs. Here are traffic-related incidents that I want to tell you about. There was a speeding Mustang crash early October the 11th, around dawn. A blue Mustang lost control near Loop 410 and Ingram Road. You're going to hear that road plenty of times around here. Ingram Road, striking a bicyclist who's injured but stable. If you're bicycling around Ingham Road at 410, might I suggest, because some people they have to do this. Some people can't afford a vehicle and stuff. I'm sorry to tell you, you're asking to get ran over in a hit and run situation. Okay? Striking a bicyclist injured but stable in another vehicle before fleeing. Goddamn. Hit a bicycle and another vehicle before fleeing. The driver is currently at large. I certainly hope they find this driver. He's a blue Mustang. If you have any tips, please contact the police. 410 and Ingram Road area. On a crosswalk, a pedestrian was hit and ran on October the 12th in the bright, visible afternoon time. A driver struck a pedestrian at a marked crosswalk and fled. Victim hospitalized with minor injuries. Vehicle description released. It was a sedan and it was dark colored. Now, before I move on, let me also say that just the other day, I was with my man and he was in a big truck. He owns a big truck. And we were about to pull out pause, over there on Loop 1604, the HEB over there on Calabria. We're about to exit that parking lot. I believe it's actually the Home Depot parking lot. And a man on a bicycle, mind you, this is a big truck. It's kind of lifted. A man on a bicycle damn near got hit by my man. All right? And we could go back and forth about who's at fault here. I don't think it really matters who's at fault in this situation. If both parties were more careful, this wouldn't be a thing that could have possibly happened. He didn't hit the guy, but he was almost going to pull out, and then I saw the guy, and I was like, oh, God, it's the guy right there. And so my man stopped, and then the guy on the bicycle, he rode past, and he wound up flipping off my man. Flipped him off. I don't know that I can blame him necessarily, but both parties had to be more careful. I mean, dude, even if you're in a big truck, what you got to know is people will just go right up under it. They'll place themselves right under your truck on a little tiny bicycle. You won't even see them because you're not aware enough. That's the issue. You might not be in the wrong. However, now you've incurred all sort of problems by hitting somebody, and you just didn't even want to do that. You could have been more aware. So some other notable incidents: officer assault during a traffic stop. See, all these things, people in San Antonio, they wouldn't exactly know about. The reason is because, the news takes forever to even get to things, and lots of times they don't even mention things like this. Right? They're off talking about the high school football game or some stupid, retarded thing. All right? Whatever. They're talking about the San Antonio Spurs and whether or not they're going to get a stadium. Who gives a damn? That's what I'm here to ask you. Okay? So you came to the right place. We're going to be doing this regularly. We're going to make it a habit of doing this so that you know what shenanigans are going on. How to kind of be safe amongst these shenanigans. So check this out. An officer was assaulted during a traffic stop, like we had mentioned. The suspect fled after dragging, you might not have heard about this, an SAPD officer with his vehicle on the southeast side, yet another side I personally don't want to go to. Felony warrant issued, rewards for tips. Okay, just so that you know, and I've said this before, the west side, don't want to go there. I really don't want to go there. I mean, I'll go to places if I have to, if I very much have to for business reasons. But other than that, I'm just not going. It's problems. They got big problems over there. The west side, the east side. Mind you, it's going to sound like I'm describing all of San Antonio. The east side, especially the southwest side, and especially the southeast side. The lower you go, the bigger problems you got. The south side in general, I don't want to go there. Okay? If you're asking me, and I've gone to all these places for different various reasons, but I don't make it a habit. If you were to ask me, go ahead and stay on the north side as much as you can. And maybe the central part, I guess, there's nice areas there, but it's also, you can mess around in anywhere in San Antonio and find yourself in spots that are just unsavory. But your best bet, I tell tourists and everything, everybody loves to go to the Riverwalk and this and that. All right, go to the Riverwalk, be safe. I personally, as a citizen, born and raised in San Antonio, I never go to the Riverwalk, nor do I care about the Riverwalk. Oh yeah, it's kind of nice, I guess, sort of, especially if you want to spend all your money. That's what it's for. There's also nicer areas in San Antonio. I mean, statistically, where you're statistically safer, right? So I just wanted to mention that, and I will mention that many, many times until it ever changes. I don't think it will. So there was an invasive recording arrest. Plenty of criminality going on. So former Holy Cross High School, and I've been knowing about this for a little while, right? You think, I'm going to send my child to a Catholic school or private school and stuff. They're going to be safe. Hell no, dude. You are retarded for sending your child to school is really dumb at this point. to thinking that you're going to send them to a Catholic private school and that's going to be good. That's really dumb. I don't know that it's a private school, but it seems like it would be. A former Holy Cross high school coach named Armando Flores was arrested pre-weekend, but bond posted this weekend. So he posted bond, and now he's going to be running around. Okay? So you might want to keep an eye out for him for secretly recording a coworker using a hidden camera and a clock. This is very, very premeditated. He denies charges and was released on bond. Now, this is all allegedly, by the way. We're not positive that he did it. It's just very extremely likely that he did it because he's a pervert. Say, how did he end up in the Catholic school? People like to say this and that about Catholics. It don't matter what religion or what sect of religion, you're gonna find perverts in there trying to take advantage. And if this surprises you, then you are a very naive individual. So, and especially in public school, I mean, it's rampant and out of control in public school. I can guarantee you, especially in San Antonio. So, anti-trafficking operation. This is something that we mentioned earlier. A major positive development, and I big ups to everybody in law enforcement. Thank God, and I appreciate y'all. Y'all are some freaking heroes. You know, just like in any institution, there's going to be corrupt individuals in any institution. So anybody who doesn't understand that is very naive. But however, I can say, in my personal opinion, when it comes to SAPD and the sheriff's office, I think that although there's corruption, although there's people who I don't exactly trust, speaking in general, I would have to say our police department and our sheriff's department is some of the best in the country, for whatever that's worth. And I want to give them proper respect for that. Some of the best in the country. I'm pretty sure of that. So a major positive development. It's called Operation Lightning Bug. A multi-week effort by the U.S. Marshals and SAPD concluded over the weekend with the rescue of 36 at-risk children. For all those people out there who's running around of whatever political mindset that they're on, who's talking about, oh, there's no such thing as this and that, oh, we don't have to worry about the trafficking of young children across the border. That's not something we have to worry about. Let's just not even have a border and everybody's going to be free and everybody's going to do the right thing. You are incredibly naive. And, I mean, to the point where you're a detriment to society. You're that naive. You're an adult and you do not know that this sort of thing is happening on the regular basis. You have no idea. You want to blame Donald Trump for it because he rules your mind. Oh, this is made up. This is not a real thing. No, it's a real thing, and I hear about it all the time, like clockwork. And you have heroes in our law enforcement who are saving children all the time. Do you hear about that in your news? Is that something that you hear about in your news every time you turn on the news? How children have had their lives saved because of these law enforcement heroes. Is that something that you heard about? Or do you just hate Donald Trump and that's the only thing that you think about all day? Right? So they rescued 36 at-risk children. This is just in the city of San Antonio. This is happening all over the country like clockwork. These people are saving desperate children. Guess what? All the complaining you want to do about law enforcement, these people need our help in any way possible. They need more and more help. There's not enough help that they can get in regards to these matters. This is why we're here right now. So the operation cleared 120 missing children from registries. They're not going to talk about this very much in your local news, and if they do, they're going to brisk right over it. And they're not going to emphasize that this is really the most important thing that you're hearing about during this whole news broadcast. This is something that we should all think about. They're finding children like clockwork who are inside of our country, both foreign and domestic, being used as slaves in various different ways. And we're just supposed to not think about it. The operation cleared, again, 120 missing children from registries, led to 9 arrests, thank God, and sparked additional investigations. This highlights collaborative law enforcement success and broader crime trends. It does not matter what side of the political corner you're on. How about we forget politics right now? And don't even worry about politics. How about we save the children? There's law enforcement out there saving the children. They need our help in every kind of way possible because this is the most important thing that's happening in our news. So the broader context, SAPD's Q1 2025 stats from January through March shows decline in homicides, but it's not declining enough. I'm here to tell you. I'll let you know when it's declining enough. When it's hard for me to find people who have been murdered on a regular basis here in San Antonio, that is when perhaps that it's declined enough. It has not declined enough. That much I can promise you. There's a decline supposedly in homicides and assaults, continuing in Q2. That's good, but we need better. We need more. We need more and more. I'll let you know when we don't need any more. Weekend incidents appear isolated but underscore risks in high traffic areas such as Northwest Side, representing, you're seeing it more and more, and the West Sides. And real quick, let me just say also, I have a personal friend, and this does not show up in the news. Perhaps we shall talk about car break-ins, which is big. We don't have to talk about all these things. We need to be vigilant. We need to be aware. Oh, does that mean let's be scared and terrified out of our minds? No, you should be scared to be naive. Do you have children? Do you have loved ones? You should be scared to be unaware. That's what should scare you. Right? We're not here to be naive. We're not here to be unaware. All right? There's plenty of vehicle break-ins, for example. The other day, a good friend, a lifelong friend, who I've known since we were wee bitty, he had his truck stolen. This is one of 1,000 incidents recently here in San Antonio. Truck stolen. Luckily, and I saw this all from Facebook, he was able to find it in a nearby area by putting the word out, and because he's a pretty popular guy, people know him and like him. They were able to locate his truck, thank God. I don't know that they'll ever find the perpetrators who took the truck. More often than not, way more often than not, they're not going to find the perpetrators. Okay, but thankfully, they found the truck. It was a little bit beat up, but, at least they found it, and I assume it still works for the most part. So there's a decline in homicides and assaults continuing into Q2. Weekend incidents appear isolated, but underscores the risk of these areas like we were talking about. For real-time updates, you could check the SAPD's police calls for a service tool or Crime Stoppers. If you want to give them tips, the phone number is 210-224-STOP. These are all tools that I'm going to write down, and we're going to have all this information on hand for exactly when we need it, because we're responsible, because we're citizens, because we're law-abiding citizens of this area, and we want to make it better. If you have information on any incident, please contact SAPD non-emergency line. Unless it is an emergency, please call 911. But if it's not an emergency, dial 210-207-7273. That's 210-207-7273. Especially if you have tips on any of this shenanigans that we just described. And that's about it for right now, although I'm sure there's a lot more that we don't know about. All right, so Stay safe out there. Be vigilant, like I say. If you're a man, know that there's people you need to protect. If you're a woman, there's certainly children out there that you need to protect. And so being naive is not the answer. Being unaware is not the answer. Being ill equipped for emergency situations is, in fact, not the answer. It's not the answer we're looking for around here. Holler at y'all perhaps tomorrow, perhaps the next day. We're gonna try to get it to where it's daily, just so that everybody's abreast of the breaking news and situations. I'll holler at y'all the next time.